On News Hour tonight, Benue residents demand for concrete action after President Tinubu's assessment visit. Angry youths in Kano destroy Tinubu APC 2027 campaign billboards and express discontentment. Natasha pleads not guilty to alleged defamation and granted 50 million naira bail. And on the foreign scene, South Africa declares state of disaster following severe weather. Hello and welcome to Trust News Hour. I am Hawa Adamu Kiawa. We apologize for bringing this broadcast not on time due to technical issues. Now the details. Reactions have continued to trail President Bola Tinubu's recent visit to Benue following a series of violent attacks, including the most recent assault on Yelwata community. With the visit now over, residents are now calling for concrete action to follow the president's visit and public assurances, particularly to address the ongoing insecurity in the north-central region, with Benue State being a major flashpoint. The report.
The people's major concern is the lingering impact and trauma these attacks have caused, not just in terms of life lost, but also in the economic paralysis they say the violence has brought to the state. Another growing fear is the threat of food insecurity, both locally and nationally, as farmers continue to be displaced due to persistent violence. Despite this, there is still a sense of hope, as residents say they believe the president's visit and first-hand experience of the situation might finally lead to reaction.
Everything is down. The economy, everything about Benue now is down because so many lives have been born in little time. So in a single stretch of 3 days, so many lives have born. So we expect that as the president of the country is here, we wish that the insecurity problem in the country, especially in Benue State and North Central Nigeria, is tackled so that the economy will pick up and we go back to our farms.
If you check around the camp now, so much people, agricultural activities has paused in Benue State, and this is causing more harm. So if Mr. President is concerned, let him bring security in Benue State so much that even farmers will get access to their land to produce more food.
However, there is criticism over how youths were reportedly blocked from interacting with the president during the visit, a move that has sparked concerns over transparency and the credibility of intelligence gathering by security agencies.
We are suffering. They are killing people here. Your Excellency, please give a marching order to make sure anybody who comes to kill, to maim, should be dealt with. There is nothing like that. And even the police intelligence, the intelligence in the aspect of police is dead totally. There will be report, there will be intelligence that there will be attack, they will do nothing about it, and there will be attack, and nobody will be fished out, nobody will be penalized for it. That is the most dangerous part of it.
We are crying unto him so that he will stop the killing. He will give us the security to stop the killing of Benue State.
All eyes are now on what steps will follow the president's visit to Benue State.
Still in Benue, internally displaced persons IDP from the Yelwata crisis on Thursday took to the streets of Makurdi to protest worsening conditions at their camp, alleging hunger, neglect and diversion of relief materials meant for their survival. The aggrieved IDPs blocked the busy road near the Makurdi International Market, causing traffic gridlock as they demanded swift government intervention and accountability from relief agencies. According to the protesting IDPs, at least 2 people recently died in the camp due to starvation and the deteriorating health environment. Some alleged that food items and mattresses, including those reportedly donated by the senior pastor of Dunamis International Gospel Center, Dr. Paul Enenche, never reached them. The protesters accused officials overseeing camp management of hoarding and possibly diverting donated materials. They urged the Benue state government and relevant humanitarian agencies to investigate the alleged misconduct and ensure transparency in the distribution of aid. Meantime, the Benue State government, through the State Emergency Management Agency, SEMA, has since responded through provision of water, distribution of food and non-food items to the IDPs. In the story, 9 protesters arrested during a recent protest demanding an end to the killing in Benue State have been released by a court. The court's decision comes after sustained agitation and public outcry over the detention of the demonstrators who were reportedly picked up during peaceful protests across parts of the state. Despite the release, several others remain in custody with no clear update on their legal status. Family members and supporters who thronged the court premises cheered the development but voiced strong concerns for those still being held. As President Bola Tinubu visits Kaduna to commission projects executed by the Kaduna State government over the past 2 years, a cross-section of residents have expressed concern over the rising cost of living in the country. While welcoming the president, many lamented the worsening security challenges plaguing the state, the north and other parts of the country. They also appealed to the federal government to urgently complete the Abuja-Kaduna Expressway, a project initiated under former President Muhammadu Buhari. The report.
The president's visit was to commission key infrastructure projects, including 300-bed hospital in Millennium City, the Tudimbiri Road, and other road projects executed by the Kaduna State government. Residents in Kaduna shared mixed reactions to President Tinubu's visit.
We wish him the best visit to Kaduna State and commission the best thing and let the commissioning to be executed, not to be by saying.
We pray for his safe arrival, but we have no business with the visit because it won't make any impact on our lives.
For we believe his visitation will be of a good to people of Kaduna State, because if he comes to Kaduna State, at the end of it, or if he goes, we believe something better will be in Kaduna State, because our father is coming to visit his children.
That road of the thing, well, is equally good because it has an economic impact. Road construction is meant for development of the town. So I feel it's good for him to do all those things.
The visit comes at a time when Nigerians are grappling with the harsh realities of an economic downturn. Citizens on the streets of Kaduna voiced their fears over the growing hardship, which they say threatens their livelihood.
Definitely, workers are in hardship. Definitely, workers are in hardship in the federal and the state level because of what they have earned as monthly salary is not enough. It's just a mega. What is 470,000? What is 75,000? How many do you think a worker can go to the market and buy a bag of rice? It's over 100,000 foreign rice. Nigerian rice is almost 90 to 88,000. Which kind of government are we facing now? We are in democratic elected government that we think they have a sympathy to assist the workforce, because without workforce, government will never earn what they have intent to earn for. We are the workforce. I think it's better for the government to make sure and look at the welfare of the workers, most especially in Kaduna State.
On Mr. President, is to look at this issue of Kaduna Abuja highway. I think there is a need to make sure that this road is finished on time so that people will have more access to road from Kaduna to Abuja.
The 300-bed hospital, which was originally initiated during the administration of former Governor Namadi Sambo, is among the projects commissioned by President Tinubu. Residents also weigh in on Governor Obasani's performance in the 2 years of his administration.
We thank the government for the hospital. However, we hope low-income earners can afford the bill. The hospital will bring succor to us because we will be able to deliver here without going to far places.
We can't point to specifics that suggest development, but we can say there are some road construction projects ongoing in the village. Meanwhile, prior to the president's visit, rumors circulated on social media that former Vice President Namadi Sambo had defected to the All Progressive Congress. However, sources close to the former Vice President have debunked the claims, describing them as false. Bella Musa, Trust TV News, Kaduna.
Now moving to Kano State, dozens of irate youths have been captured in a viral video pulling down and destroying a massive 2027 campaign billboard bearing the image of President Bola Tinubu and other All Progressives Congress chieftains. The incident, which reportedly occurred on a major street, shows visibly angry young men, mostly in their 20s, tearing down the structure with sticks and bare hands, as others cheered and filmed with mobile phones. The billboard had the conspicuous image of President Bola Tinubu alongside APC leaders in Kano, with the inscription Fatang Alheri 2027, a Hausa phrase which loosely translates to best wishes for 2027. This signaled early campaign posturing for Tinubu's second-term ambition. In another story, 2 decomposed bodies of victims of the devastating flood that swept through Mokwa town, the headquarters of Mokwa local government area of Niger State, on May 29th, were recovered on Thursday. The Director General, Niger State Emergency Management Agency, Abdullahi Baba Ara, confirmed the recovery of the 2 bodies on Thursday. Ara said the bodies were discovered downstream of the bridge where the flood water had passed after heavy downpour on Wednesday. The Niger State government had said that no fewer than 700 people were still missing, while 207 others were confirmed dead from the disaster. The Niger State government has advised communities residing in flood-prone areas to immediately relocate to higher ground to forestall another flood disaster. This follows a weather forecast issued by the Nigerian Meteorological Agency, NIMET, predicting 3 days of thunderstorms and rainfall across the country. In a statement released in Minna by the Special Advisor to Governor Muhammad Umar Bago on Communication, Media and Strategy, Jonathan Vatsa, the state government stressed the urgent need for residents living along riverbanks to move to safer locations to avert possible catastrophe. He explained that the government cannot afford a repeat of the recent Mokwa flood disaster, which claimed over 200 lives and resulted in the loss of properties worth millions of naira. The government noted that it would soon embark on a statewide awareness and sensitization campaign to educate residents on the importance of temporarily detaching themselves from their ancestral homes as the rainy season approaches, insisting that they can go back after the rainy season. The statement further called on traditional rulers, community leaders and religious figures to assist the government in sensitizing their subjects and followers about the need to heed flood warnings and take all necessary precautions. Meanwhile, a rainstorm reportedly wreaked havoc on the Federal Polytechnic Ida in Kogi State, causing widespread destruction of property and buildings. It was gathered that a devastating rainstorm accompanied a downpour that lasted for hours on Wednesday, damaging roofs, walls and windows of several buildings in the school. In the process, several lecture halls, laboratories and students' hostels in the campus reportedly suffered heavy destruction. The rector of the Federal Polytechnic, Ida, Yakubu Usman, said it was a terrifying experience for the school, adding that the management is saddened by the high level of destruction caused by the storm. Usman added that the institution would do everything possible to provide the necessary support to the affected facilities for students to resume academic activities without delay. Justice Chizoba Oji of the Federal Capital Territory High Court on Thursday granted Kogi Central Senator Tasha Akpoti Uduaghan a 50 million naira bail after she pleaded not guilty of alleged defamation. Akpoti Uduaghan was granted bail with one surety, who must have a landed property in Abuja and must be a responsible resident of the FCT. The judge adjourned the case to September 23, 2025 for trial. Earlier, the lawmaker was arraigned by the federal government on 3 counts bordering on alleged defamation of Senate President Godswill Akpabio and former Governor of Kogi State, Yahya Bello. Security operatives were visible around the court, with the proceeding attended by the lawmaker's husband, a former Minister of Education, Obi Ezekwesili, activist Aisha Yusufu, and numerous supporters.
Okay, distinguished. How are you? How are you doing? Very happy to food. Well done. Let me just step out. Follow.
Me too. Am I to come?
Leader of the indigenous people of Biafra, IPOB, Nnamdi Kanu, has been given July 18th to open his defense in the terrorism charges brought against him by the federal government. Justice James Umutusha of the Federal High Court in Abuja fixed the date on Thursday when the federal government closed its case against the IPOB leader after calling 5 witnesses who testified to establish the terror charge. However, there are strong indications that Kanu may file a no-case submission on the grounds that he was not properly linked with the alleged terrorism cases in the country. Adegboyega Owomolo, who led the prosecution team of the federal government, announced the closure of the case after the 5th prosecution witness, identified as EEE for security reasons, was discharged from the witness box. After they were cross-examined by one of Kanu's lawyers, Onyechi Bezu, according to Owomolo. The prosecution was satisfied that from the avalanche of evidence tendered, including broadcasts of activities of the leader of the pro-Biafra nation, the government had sufficiently satisfied the need to close its case. Reacting, the lead defense counsel, Kanu Agabi, informed the court that they would be opting for a no-case submission, which would be filed in due course. You're watching NewsHour on Trust TV. Coming up after the break. Rivers' budget rises to 1.84 trillion naira as IBA's defense appropriation before Senate. More news when we return. Do stay with us. Welcome back. If you're just joining us, this is News Hour on Trust TV. Let's take a look at our top stories again. Benue residents demand for concrete action after President Tinubu's assessment visit. An angry youth in Kano destroyed Tinubu APC 2027 campaign billboards, expressed discontentment. Now, moving on to more stories, the Senate has defended the significant increase in the 2025 Rivers State budget, describing the adjustment as necessary, people-oriented and aligned with sustaining peace and development under the ongoing emergency administration. Rivers State sole administrator Vice Admiral Ibok Ete Ibas presented a revised budget of 1.846 trillion naira to the Senate Ad Hoc Committee on Oversight, an increase of 360 billion naira from the initial estimate of 1.486 trillion naira submitted by President Bola Tinubu. Senate leader Senator Okpeyemi emphasized that about 85% of the budget had been drafted by the previous administration before the emergency rule, with revisions reflecting new priorities in infrastructure and public welfare. He attributed the increase mainly to urgent capital projects and key welfare obligations, including a notable 50 billion naira allocation for outstanding pensions and gratuities to restore dignity to retired public servants and ensure social stability.
The total expenditure plan for 2025, like I stated earlier, is 1.80 trillion naira as submitted to Mr. President. However, after receipt of the additional information on the first quarter expenditure, the reviewed projected expenditure for 2025 is 1.846 trillion naira.
At least 85% of the budget estimates presented to us today were the budget estimates already drawn up by the Fubara-led administration before the emergency law. They had increased it by some 15% or so based on projects, additional projects that needed to be executed.
Moving on, the Senate has tasked the newly nominated board members of the South-South Development Commission with the responsibility of tackling the pressing challenges of economic sabotage, environmental degradation and infrastructure decay in the oil-rich South-South geopolitical zone. The charge was issued on Wednesday during the screening exercise conducted by the Senate Committee on the South-South Development Commission, chaired by Senator Benson Kombowe. The report.
Senator Kombowe urged the nominees to develop and execute strategic projects that directly address the region's long-standing developmental challenges. He emphasized the need for inclusive initiatives tailored to the diverse needs of communities across the South-South.
And the bottom line of it is that the Niger Delta have been crying over the years, as all of you are aware, due to underdevelopment, lack of inclusivity, and what have you. And to this end, the establishment of this commission is in answers to many of our questions, the unanswered questions of underdevelopment.
The nominees screened and confirmed include Chibudom Nwuche as chairman and Usoro Offiang Akpabio as managing director. Senator Sukwo Ekpeyong, chairman of the Senate Committee on Niger Data Affairs and member of the SSDC screening panel, emphasized the importance of teamwork among the nominees. He added that the commission must work in partnership with state governments to tap into the region's vast natural resources, including oil, gas, and solid minerals, to drive economic development.
You have a lot to prove, being a young lady in this country, and we believe, based on your CV and the questions you've answered here, that you are up to the task and the challenge. And I can see the CVs of the gentlemen and lady that have been nominated to serve with you in this board. I ask that you work well with them, you carry them along, and we as a committee committee look forward to working with you.
In her response, Akpabio pledged the Commission's commitment to balanced regional development and strategic human capital investment. She stressed the need to factor population indices and levels of underdevelopment into project allocation. Highlighting lessons from the COVID-19 pandemic, Akpabio noted the neglect of rural health infrastructure and promised medical outreach initiatives and the rehabilitation of dilapidated facilities.
First of all, the region is blessed with natural resources, which is an enabler for crime. So, holistically, we would do entirety of infrastructure in the 6 states. We would look at militancy control. We would also look at environmental control and community development. So when you're saying environmental control, you're talking about, all pollution control. You're talking about ecology problems. You're talking about illegal mining, that has caused soil degradation.
The Senate is expected to confirm the nominees in the coming days, marking a major step in the operationalization of the SSDC.
In another update, President Bola Tinubu narrowly escaped an attempted attack during his visit to Kaduna, sparking concerns over presidential security and rising political tensions.
As well as providing them with skill and opportunity to excel. Leave him alone. Your great people, Senator Obasani, the great people of Kaduna loves you. And that extends to our commitment to democracy, justice, and dignity of life. You are a good leader, and I am very happy to have to work with you. I think I am a lucky president. I am overwhelmed by the warm reception of the government and the people of Kaduna State. I am particularly impressed with the peaceful atmosphere prevailing in this state. This is sharply in contrast with the tense and toxic atmosphere when I visited this state in year 2022. To bringing Gwari local government for the electioneering campaign, we almost have to move the entire battalion. I have it on good authority that you can move to bringing Gwari today around midnight without fear of attack. Peace is the hallmark of development. That's why you are able to channel a vision that is sharp and yielding results.
The Independent National Electoral Commission has told a coalition of political groups seeking to register a new party ahead of the 2027 general elections that no amount of public pressure or blackmail would override the need for strict compliance with constitutional and regulatory requirements. The electoral body questioned the coalition's compliance with key legal and procedural requirements, warning that party registration was not merely a political declaration, but a constitutional process governed by strict guidelines. Several opposition members had recently accused the electoral body of refusing to register new political parties, raising concerns about the inclusiveness of the electoral process. Former Minister of Transportation Rotimi Amechi accused INEC Chairman Mahmoud Yakubu of blocking the registration of new political parties. Speaking earlier in June, Amechi praised former INEC Chairman Professor Tahir Jiga for for ensuring a transparent electoral process that led to the All Progressives Congress registration and eventual victory in 2015. Other coalition leaders, including a former secretary to the government of the Federation, Babachir Lawan, and a chieftain of the APC, Salihu Lukman, had blamed INEC of different events over non-registration of political parties ahead of the 2027 election. But reacting to the allegations, the chief press secretary to the INEC chairman, Rotimi Oyekami, dismissed the claims as unfounded and stressed the importance of compliance with the Commission's regulations. The National Economic Council, NEC, has postponed its meeting earlier scheduled for Thursday, June 19, 2025. NEC, which is chaired by Vice President Kashim Shettima, has the constitutional mandate to advise the President concerning the economic affairs of the Federation and in particular on measures necessary for the coordination of the economic planning efforts or economic programs of the various governments of the Federation. Its membership comprises the 36 state governors, the governor of the Central Bank of Nigeria, and other co-opted government officials. At its 149th meeting held in April, the National Economic Council endorsed the establishment of a cotton, textile and garment development board alongside new strategies for agribusiness expansion and livestock transformation, projects projected to generate up to $90 billion in economic value by 2035. It also approved the establishment of a national office for the Green Imperative Project in Abuja, with regional offices across the 6 geopolitical zones, and also deliberated on measures to address the crisis associated with the current system of animal husbandry in the country. The postponement of Thursday's planned meeting may not be unconnected to the fact that no fewer than 11 governors are attending the commissioning of projects in Kaduna State by President Tinubu. In another story, the Bauchi State Police Commissioner Sani Aliyu has warned criminals to either repent or leave the state. According to CP Sani, the warning has become imperative as criminals no longer have space in Bauchi, as the police is collaborating with sister agencies are determined to deal with them. The commissioner sounded the warning during an interactive with Trust TV in Bauchi on Thursday. CP Sani said security agencies in the state have deployed their personnel to strategic locations to ensure safety of lives and properties.
Home manufacturing here makes the officers very efficient and capable officers who are dedicated and work around the clock. My divisional police officers, as well as the area commanders, are always very dedicated, and so far the journey has been very good. It has been a smooth riding. We have resuscitated our meeting points, whereby we deploy policemen to strategic points within the metro, and it has been paying off in the sense that the police are now very, very visible, and that has, endeared the police to the public, who now feel the presence of the police and they are willing to cooperate with the police.
The Nigeria Police Force has reaffirmed its commitment to ensuring peace and order in Iwo and Ibadan communities following renewed tensions over a border dispute. This assurance was given by the Assistant Inspector General of Police Zone 11, Fred Ekokotu, during a 2-day working visit to the Oyo State Police Command in Ibadan. The report.
The visit by AIG Fred was aimed at assessing the command's operations, strengthening interagency cooperation, and reviewing security strategies to address emerging challenges in the region. The event brought together key stakeholders, including heads of sister security agencies, traditional rulers, community leaders, and senior officers of the Nigerian Police Force. The Oyo State Commissioner of Police, Johnson Adenola, raised concerns over manpower shortages in the command, calling for urgent recruitment to boost the effectiveness and reach of the police operations.
Given these challenges, we respectfully request
that the AIG consider deploying additional officers to our command to bridge the gap between our current strength and the state's population. This will enable us to respond more effectively to security threats and provide necessary protection to our citizens.
AIG Fred addressed the ongoing boundary conflict between Iwo in Osun State and Lagelu in Ibadan, Oyo State, where recent clashes have led to property damage, farm invasions, and rising tension among residents. He appealed to traditional rulers to play a proactive role in sensitizing their communities and promoting dialogue to consolidate the fragile peace recently restored in the affected areas.
My coming here is just to reassure the people of their safety, also assure them that the IG is on top of the situation, and also to intimate the Olubadan of the step being taken on the issue of Ibadan or Iwo land, this border dispute, and also appeal to him to talk to his subjects to allow peace to reign.
On police recruitment, the AIG assured that efforts are underway at the national level to address the manpower deficit and reposition the force for better service delivery across the country.
Ahead of next month's Monetary Policy Committee meeting, a new research note by Renaissance Capital has revealed that Nigeria's banking sector is facing a severe liquidity crunch following the Central Bank of Nigeria's decision to impose a 50% cash reserve ratio, a move analysts say is at odds with the country's ambition of achieving a $1 trillion economy by 2030. A new report by investment bank Renaissance Capital has warned that the highest CRR requirement, described as the highest in the world, has significantly restricted banks' ability to lend, threatening credit growth and turning market sentiment on Nigerian banks from bullish to bearish in the short term. According to Renaissance Capital, the CBN's simultaneous push for bank recapitalization to support lending capacity and its aggressive liquidity mop-up through the 50% CRR presents a conflicting policy stance. The CRR is the percentage of a bank's total deposits that must be kept with the CBN and not used for lending or investment. The Apex Bank had previously employed discretionary CRR debits, but its swift to a uniform 50% requirement is now drawing criticism from financial experts and market analysts. In another story, the Securities and Exchange Commission (SEC) has warned the public against investing in Zuga Coin and Zuga GPT. In a statement on Wednesday, the Commission flagged the duo as unauthorized crypto assets, adding that the promoters or issuers of Zuga Coin and Zuga GPT were not registered to operate in any capacity in the Nigerian capital market. It also noted that cryptocurrencies were not approved for issuance to the public, and it advised the public to refrain from engaging in the purchase or promotion of crypto coins or any of the variants, adding that any person who invests in the scheme does so at his or her own risk. Still on business, stock markets mostly fell Thursday while oil prices rose as the Israel-Iran conflict added to fears over a renewed spike in inflation that could dent economic growth in major countries. Investors had already taken a cautious stance after the U.S. Federal Reserve kept its interest rate unchanged and warned on Wednesday that President Donald Trump's trade war could reignite inflation and dampen economic growth. After gaining more than 1% in Asian trading hours, crude futures fell back but remained higher compared with levels on Wednesday. As fears grow of direct U.S. participation in the strikes on Iran, analysts said there was a risk that Tehran could shut the Strait of Hormuz, a key shipping lane through which an estimated fifth of global oil supply flows. The concerns over potential supply constraints boosted share prices of major energy companies on Thursday. French oil and gas giant Total Energies topped the Paris CAC 40 blue chip index in early afternoon trade with a gain of 1.5%, while British energy group BP advanced advanced 1.1% in London. US stock and bond markets are closed Thursday for the Juneteenth holiday, which commemorates the official end of slavery in the United States in 1865. Now away from Nigeria, South Africa declared a national disaster on Thursday following severe weather in several parts of the country last week. While the snow, heavy rains and high winds have impacted several provinces, the area around Mathatha city in the Eastern Cape was the hardest hit. The death toll from flooding in the region has increased to 92, with that figure likely to rise as mop-up operations continue. Officials say 31 children were among the dead. At least 2 school children who were in a bus that was washed away are among the unverified number of missing persons, according to local media reports. Authorities have appealed for residents to report missing people so rescuers could better understand how many people they were still looking for. 2 police officers accused of shooting and wounding a street hawker were arraigned in a Nairobi court on Thursday and remanded into custody while detectives complete their investigation. The defendants are accused of shooting 22-year-old Boniface Key on Tuesday during street protests over the death of blogger Albert Ojwang while in police custody. Key's shooting has added to the growing anger against police brutality in the country. Ojwang was arrested on June 6th in Western Kenya for what police called publishing false information about a top police official on social media. Police attributed his death to him hitting his head against the cell wall, but activists have questioned the cause of death. As hundreds of protesters clashed with police in Nairobi, Key is believed to have been caught up in a confrontation with 2 officers. One officer, who had concealed his face with a mask, shot him in the head as he walked away. The officers will remain in custody until July 3rd. It's now time for Sports Update with Joseph Peters.
President of the Nigerian Football Federation, Alhaji Ibrahim Musa Gusau, has reaffirmed his commitment to fulfilling all the electoral promises he made before the conclusion of his tenure. Gusau made his declaration on Wednesday in Abuja at the monthly Nigerian National League NNL Awards ceremony for April and May 2025. Speaking to players, coaches, administrators, and media present at the event, the NFF president highlighted several key achievements already recorded under his administration, among them the alignment of Nigeria domestic league calendar with global standards. Gusau noted that the calendar alignment wasn't exclusive to the Nigerian Professional League NPFL, but also extended to the Nigerian Women Football League NWFL, reflecting a broader vision for systematic and inclusive development. Addressing officiating standards in the country, Gusau lamented the absence of Nigerian referees in elite international lists, but expressed pride in the progress being made to change that narrative. Looking to the future, the NFF president restated his administration's commitment to grassroots football as a long-term investment in the game's sustainability and competitiveness. Gusau also commended the NNL for its growing professionalism and dedication to excellence, stating that the monthly awards ceremony plays a crucial role in recognizing and rewarding excellence across the league. That's Sport News. I'm Joseph Peter.
And with that, we've come to the end of News Hour on Trust TV. Make sure you follow all our media platforms and watch our YouTube live stream for more news. I am Hawa Ademikiawa. Have a wonderful evening.